When it comes to Chinese cities, most people think about Beijing, Shanghai, or Hong Kong. But there's a city that has already surpassed in population those three cities by a huge margin. And I bet you don't even know how to pronounce its name. Welcome to Guangzhou. One of the most impressive features of Guangzhou is that it's a city built on water. If you look at it from above, the first thing that stands out is the network of rivers, islands, and channels that cut through the landscape. The city is located at the northern edge of the Pearl River Delta, one of the most complex river systems in China. The elevation is mostly flat. That makes construction and infrastructure relatively easy. But it also means the region is vulnerable to flooding, especially during typhoon season. To the north, the terrain starts to rise. There are hills like Baiyun Shan that act as the city's natural edge, creating a bit of topographic relief and giving people a place to escape the dense urban core. Guangzhou sits at the apex of southern China's most economically dynamic region. The Pearl River provides a deep navigable highway stretching over 120 kilometers inland from the South China Sea. For centuries, this made Guangzhou the only port in China officially open to foreign trade. It was China's lifeline to the world. Today, that advantage is supercharged. Guangzhou is the undisputed anchor of the Greater Bay Area. It is perfectly positioned as the manufacturing and logistics hub for the vast factories of the Pearl River Delta. Goods flow down the river along the high-speed rail lines radiating from Guangzhou to every corner of China and beyond. Guangzhou doesn't follow a single pattern. It's a city of layers, each one added as it grew outward from the river. The historic core is around the district of Yuexiao, near the old trade ports and the regional commercial streets. This part of the city is denser, with narrow roads, older buildings, and a few scattered parks and public squares. It's where the government offices, cultural landmarks, and some of the oldest residential zones are located. Move south toward Haichu district, and you will notice more modern development. This is where the city started to expand seriously during the reform era. Roads get wider, neighborhoods are larger, and you start seeing the kind of tower blocks that define many Chinese urban areas today. Across the river to the east is the Tianhe district, the city's new commercial and financial heart. This is where the skyline shoots up. Glass towers, high-end malls, wide avenues, and business hotels dominate the area. The layout here is much more modern. Gridded roads, large arterial boulevards, and zoned districts for retail offices and high-rise housing. Sprawling out from these core areas are dozens of suburban-style developments. In places like Huatu and Panyu, you will find gated communities, industrial parks, and clusters of mid-rise apartment blocks. These areas often follow planned layouts, with commercial centers, schools, and residential buildings, all of those neatly packed into repeating urban units. The urban footprint doesn't end at the official city limits. Modern Guangzhou is a colossal metropolitan giant. It merges seamlessly with the neighboring Foshan to the west. Oftentimes, you cannot tell where one city ends and the other begins. And while each city has its own identity, the lines between them are starting to blur. Now, how do you move over 27 million people daily? Well, Guangzhou answers with one of the world's most impressive public transport systems. Few things define modern Guangzhou more than its metro. The network stretches deep into suburban areas, connecting zones that would otherwise feel isolated. Metro stations are built into shopping malls, bus hubs, and apartment complexes. They're clean, frequent, and air-conditioned, a must in the city's humid climate. Interchange stations are designed to handle massive volumes of passengers, and unlike older systems in some cities, is designed with accessibility and future expansion in mind. Signage is clear, trains run on time, and platforms are wide. But the metro doesn't work alone. Important river crossings are handled by a fleet of efficient public ferries, crisscrossing the Pearl River channels. And above ground, the Guangzhou BRT is a world-class system. This uses smart cards and mobile payments, and many run on electric power. The biggest rail hub in the city is Guangzhou South. This isn't just a station. is a city-sized transportation hub dedicated to high-speed rail. Here you can watch the sleek bullet trains glide in and out. This is the gateway to the national network, reaching Beijing in under 10 hours and Shanghai in about 7, and also connecting into Hong Kong in about an hour. The scale is staggering. From the air, it looks more like an airport than a traditional train station. Inside, there are massive waiting halls, ticket counters, shops, and food courts, all designed to handle tens of thousands of passengers per day. There's also Guangzhou Station, the older one close to the city center. It mainly serves conventional train lines and still handles a huge number of passengers, especially during holiday travel for people heading to the west or interior provinces. Other important rail stations include Guangzhou East and Guangzhou West, both of which distribute regional train traffic and help ease pressure from the main hubs. Meanwhile, air travel is handled by Baiyun International Airport. Its vast terminals and multiple runways handle an incredible flow. CAN is one of the world's busiest airports, a vital link not just across China, but globally as well, with direct flights to all continents. It is one of the top 3 busiest airports in China and a major hub for both domestic and international flights. A huge plus is that the airport is linked to the metro system, making it easy to reach from anywhere you may be. For a city of its size, Guangzhou has quite a few spaces where walking is not only possible, it's actually pleasant. One of the most popular pedestrian zones is Beijing Loop. It's right at the city center and functions as both a shopping street and a historical zone. The street is lined with department stores, snack stands, and clothing shops. Underneath glass panels on the pavement, you can see exposed layers of ancient roads, reminders of how long people have been walking here. You can also dive into Shangxiajiu Street. This is old Guangzhou come to life. Covered arcades protect shoppers as they wander past century-old shops selling herbal tea, silk, and Cantonese delicacies. Neon signs are always glowing. The aroma of roast goose fills the air, and the buzz is constant. It's a vibrant, historic pedestrian zone. Another favorite is Shamiantao, a small island in the river with white, tree-lined avenues and European-style buildings. It feels slower, quieter, and more graceful than the rest of the city. Many locals come here for photo shoots, outdoor cafes, or just to relax in the shade. Meanwhile, Zhujiang New City is where urban design becomes more futuristic. The area is completely walkable, surrounded by cultural centers, high-end shops, exuberant gardens, and skyscrapers. On weekends, families gather here with kids, while rollerbladers glide between fountains, and food vendors set up in the shaded corners. Liuhua Lake Park and the Baiyun Mountain are also popular for long strolls. Both places offer greenery, open air, and some elevation, rare in the flat cityscape. And if you crave even more green space, Yueshu Park is the city's green heart. Paths wind around lakes and up the hills, past the famous five-round sculpture, the symbol of Guangzhou. On mornings you can see exercise groups, while the afternoons bring families picnicking, and evenings are for strolling under the trees. It's an essential urbanscape. Even the malls, such as Taigu Hui, attract people meeting, relaxing, and soaking in the modern atmosphere. Guangzhou proves that even in a powerhouse megacity, people find and create spaces to walk, gather, and enjoy their city. Last but not least, along the Pearl River, especially in the evenings, the long promenades come alive. Sections near Hai Xinsha or Lieta offer stunning views of the city lights reflecting on the water. Joggers, cyclists, families, and couples fill the paths. It is the city breathing by the water what makes this place unique. As you can see, Guangzhou's history is written in its geography, a city forged by the Pearl River, protected by hills, and driven to expand across its delta. Its strategic location made it China's enduring southern gateway. Guangzhou is a city that masters the grand scale of global trade and the intimate scale of neighborhood life, all flowing together like the mighty river at its heart. It is not just a city, it's a dynamic force of nature, geography, and human ambition.